Hello YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. It's Absolute Venus back with another food review. This time I'm doing Upton's barbecue jackfruit. And so I've seen other YouTubers review this, and it's interesting because they describe it as, some have described it as the texture of pickle skin, which is kind of weird. So I'm like, okay, it's weird and crunchy, so I don't know if I want to eat something of that texture with barbecue sauce on it. Then others have said it's the texture of mushrooms, others pineapple. And so again, do I want to eat that with barbecue sauce on it? But one consensus that folks have had across the board is that the flavor of it was really sour. And so I'm going to tell you what I think the texture is more like and how I doctored up the product to get it to the flavor that I wanted so that I can make my mock pulled pork sandwich, on my vegan version of a pulled pork sandwich. And boy, it was super good. And as you can see, I'm a foodie because I keep coming back to you guys with more food reviews. So, Upton's. So here's the package. There's half the package left because I only made one sandwich with this. And so you can see my little baggie on the inside with the rest of the product. So I can show it to you as well so you can kind of see what the contents look like. Can you even see it through the bag here? Let's see. But it kind of looks like, you know, pulled pork mixed with, I don't know, barbecue sauce on it. But so that's the remainder of it. It'll probably make one more sandwich. And so when I tasted it both in the raw form because it's fruit, so it's pretty much cooked. You don't have to cook it anymore, but the purpose is to warm it up so that it will be more like a pulled pork sandwich. So I think that the texture is more like an artichoke heart. So if you ever had jarred artichokes, that kind of texture has not quite like pineapple. It's like an artichoke. And then I think that they might have used jackfruit that was like pickled or something. I haven't had jackfruit in its purest natural form, right out of the skin and just eating the meat of the fruit. So I can't tell you if it has a naturally sour flavor or not, but it seemed to me, I'm just guessing, that they used some kind of cured or pickled jackfruit, which is similar to when artichoke hearts are in a jar. They're kind of like vinegary and stuff like that. So knowing that and tasting that, I counterbalanced the tartness of that with a couple things. So I used Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, their honey barbecue, and for my brethren that are on an alkaline diet, yes, I used the barbecue sauce, and yes, it has high fructose corn syrup, and it had vinegar and all these other things that I shouldn't have ingested. But again, I was trying to get to the most usual barbecue flavor that you're used to in a pulled pork sandwich. So I did use these things. However, I only used a little bit of it. And then I used some agave nectar to add additional sweetness to it. But again, I know I shouldn't have necessarily used that. But the flavor was great. I also used a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, Mrs. Dash table blends, things to give it a savory. So you're doing the sour, the savory, the sweet, all at once to kind of balance the umami in the mixture. I also cooked it a little bit longer than it seemed that folks were doing in these videos, and so that helped to soften some of that flesh of the jackfruit that was a little bit more firm in the videos that I saw, because people were saying that, again, the texture was like pineapple or something, like the core of a pineapple, which, as you know, isn't very pleasant to eat. You want to eat the softer flesh of it. So I did cook it longer, and I think that was what alleviated that harder, firmer texture that people were taken aback by. So overall, I'm going to insert the picture of what it looks like near the end so you can see the finished product, but it looked awesome. It tasted awesome. I had some vegan potato salad with it, and I didn't miss that pulled pork, pulled chicken type barbecue chicken sandwich texture, flavor, the meat craving at all. So a little bit more about my vegan journey. So I've been vegan now for about 4 months. Yeah, a little over 4 months now. A few years ago, I was vegan for over a year. So I keep going back and forth, like I was telling you in one of my other videos, vegan, vegetarian. And so this time it's been a 4-month stint. So this time, it was just a natural transformation for me because I was generally looking to have a healthier diet. About a year and a half ago, I was at my heaviest weight ever, and I'm a smaller, more petite person generally. But after I had my son 9 years ago, that kind of changed in terms of, and then the diet I was eating, and then getting older in general, it just is a natural progression from not being a skinny mini, slim, healthy, well overall that I used to be. So a couple years ago was kind of the turning point for me. Luckily, I didn't have a health scare or anything, but I just wanted to eat healthier in general and be leaner, my leaner, healthier self. So that's when I started back vegan 4 months ago, but generally I was limiting the foods that were causing me to gain weight, which I've gone gluten-free. Again, it's not because of food allergies or anything, celiac disease or anything like that. I just didn't want to ingest glutinous things. Also, I have been researching an alkaline diet, vegetable-based diet, plant-based diet, and so that's kind of the alternative. So along the way, I was eliminating meat just naturally. And with the changing of the seasons, again, I live in a colder climate 8 months out of the year. I live in Chicago, and so a lot of the things, or I think the cravings that I was having for meat was just a cultural thing. Like being in a colder climate, you think you have to eat heavy protein, potatoes, carbs, that sort of thing to survive or whatever. So it was just my own brain doing it to myself. So I eliminated a lot of glutinous things, carbs, and then came the meat. So limiting that, going from red meats, pork, to chicken and fish, and then just not wanting to have chicken and fish on the regular. And so now again, I've been 4 months vegan. In that journey, it hasn't been perfect because my husband and my son, they are still eating meat, eating dairy, eating glutinous things, and I try to, have alternatives to that when I cook meals, share that with them so that they will find variety in their diet and maybe not eat so much of those things as well. One other thing that I did earlier on years ago is limit sugary things. Now, I still love desserts and all of that, but beverages that contain sugars, I don't do that. So I used to drink coffee, changed to tea, decaf mostly, and just was aware of that sort of thing. Low caffeine because I get migraine headaches, and so that's one of the triggers for that. And so I've always been cautious with caffeinated beverages, so sodas, teas, coffees, and have kept it decaf as much as I can. So anyway, this was a longer review than I thought that I was going to do, but I definitely want to share with you guys why I'm eating certain foods, why I'm currently vegan, what my overall kind of wellness journey is, to just eliminate foods that naturally I know my body I shouldn't ingest because it's not giving me the optimum fuel to have mental clarity, be as strong as I can be in a physical and spiritual way. So just making changes that I feel good with and work for me. One thing that happened when I went vegan the first couple of weeks, I couldn't sleep at all. I had so much energy that I wouldn't go to, and I'm not a night owl at all, but changing over to that, I was staying up till 2, 3 in the morning, only getting a couple of hours sleep before I had to head to the office, and I will wake up 2 hours later, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., whenever my alarm would go off, and I would still be fully energized. And that could be the diet, but then also some of the supplements that I have used as well, because I don't like vitamins, but I'll get into that. And certain supplements that I use that are more natural versus the synthetic vitamins and things of that nature. But chlorophyll is one of the things that I use, just getting down to a really micro level, cellular level. What are the things that are going to repair my body from the diet that I've eaten for 30 some odd years of my life? I'm not going to say my exact age because ladies don't do that, but and then just what I'm choosing to do now. So I will continue to bring you vegan reviews, foods that I like, and obviously this is kind of like the junk food of my vegan diet. I do eat regular fruits and vegetables and ancient grains and things of that nature. I'm not always looking for the next pre-prepared processed product, believe me. So I will share some of those just generally natural recipes that I prepare for myself and my family that don't involve a processed boxed product, but do want to share with you when I do venture out and try new things that way. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Please comment below if you have any foods that you love and enjoy. I am still going to do my top 10 favorite vegan foods, as well as my top 10 favorite, that to you as well. So there's more to come on Planet Venus. Stay tuned. I appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you soon. Peace.